When you know that you are queer, but your favorite drink is beer, that's gayish. You can bottom without stopping, but you can't stand going shopping, that's gayish. Oh, gayish, you're probably gayish. Well, life's just too short for narrow stereotypes, so it's gayish. We're also gayish. It's Gayish with Mike and Kyle. Hello, everyone in the podcast universe. This is Gayish,
the podcast that just can't wait to be king of that ass.
Oh, okay. Just can't wait to be kink. I'm Mike Johnson.
I'm Kyle Getz.
And we're here to bridge the gap between sexuality and actuality. And today, happy Pride, Kyle.
Oh God.
Sorry.
Oh Lord.
I broke the equipment. I'm so sorry.
Happy Pride, Mike.
We are recording this on June the 1st, the first day of Pride, and you have apparently red glitter coming out of your sweat pores now.
Yeah, why is there glitter in my eyeball?
I don't know.
Neither do I. I don't know where that came from.
But happy Pride.
Happy Pride. This is our first episode that's going to come out during Pride Month.
Yeah, it sure is.
You know, sweet.
Enough about that. Okay.
We're going to talk about Gold Star Gay.
We're going to talk about Gold Star Gay, and I'm hoping to have you convinced never to make that joke again after the episode. We'll see if that actually works.
That was something I'm already convinced. So that was to you, the audience listener.
Oh yeah, not you, Kyle.
Not
this
me.
Is between me and the listeners.
Okay. I don't have to be part of this conversation. That's fine.
But first, feedback.
Okay.
This was an email that we got from Jordan, ostensibly in Canada, who said, "Love you both and been a long-standing fan of the podcast, but following your country music episode that was largely great, I feel the need to inform you that Ms. K.D. Lang is a Canadian queer treasure and deserves a more comprehensive notation in queer country music history. A gender non-conforming person with a voice silkier than the thickest boy butter. I'd love to hear Mike's opinion, since he's the country music fan, of her music. Kyle, please weigh in because I feel like it might speak to you too. Keep up the great work, guys. Just be careful invoking the name of KD, lest your maple syrup crystallize. Jordan."
Wow.
Okay, here's the thing, Jordan. If I said or did anything that led you to the impression that I don't like her or underappreciate her, I apologize, but I also think maybe you weren't listening.
No, I think he was just saying, like, if you're going to talk about K.D. Lang, you have to talk about K.D. Lang. We just mentioned her in the episode. We didn't really get into her.
I have talked about her at length before. Mm-hmm. It might have been a Patreon thing, though, I forget. So if so, I apologize. But I have talked about her before and how her getting drummed out of country music in the early 90s was an absolute travesty of justice and should not have happened. She is a universal treasure, not just... I mean, she happens to be from Canada. That's fine. That
Forgiven.
That neither adds nor detracts from her amazingness, in my opinion. I think "Constant Craving" is a fucking magical song. So yeah, she's great.
That's fine.
Do you know her?
I just know that song that you made me listen to. I didn't know her before you talked about her in episode
Country Music.
No. Where you talked about her before.
Oh,
I forget which episode that was, but
yeah.
Go back, listen to every
episode. Music?
Did we just do an episode on music?
There was an episode on music when we unveiled the theme song.
Oh, that's right.
Around episode 100.
Jordan, go listen to every episode again and tell us which one it is you fucked up and missed.
Anyway, I agree with you.
Okay.
Episode what? 20? That's early.
Wow.
But
did you talk about K.D. Lang?
That's definitely not when I did the theme song, though.
But does it say K.D. Lang in there? Oh, who is K.D. Lang? That was my writing the episode description. Because who is that?
Yeah.
Thanks for the feedback.
Thanks for the feedback. Really appreciate it. She's great. I assume you are too.
Yeah.
Now the news.
Shut your mouth hole. It's time for your ear holes. News.
Fuckity fuck, Kyle.
What, Mike?
I have tried so hard. Okay, some weeks it's hard to come up with 3 stories because there's just like not that much going on in the gay universe, mm-hmm. but like some weeks it's very hard to get it down to 3. So I'm doing 4.
Okay.
But I'm afraid that there's mission creep, and that like eventually 4 will become the standard, and it'll be like I'll do 5 every once in a while. I don't want the podcast to become just Mike does the news.
easier for me. I just get to chill and listen and have little quippy remarks.
Yeah, but yeah.
That'll be our other podcast as Mike does the news.
I know. I would watch that.
Yeah?
Because I'm a narcissist. News the first.
Yeah.
Pope Francis has issued an apology because during a closed-door discussion about gay priests, he used a homophobic slur.
It was a funny one.
Think so?
Yeah.
So anonymous bishops told Italian news outlets Corriere della Sera and Italian dailies La Repubblica that the Pope invoked a vulgar Italian term during their meeting last week in which church officials were debating whether or not to allow out gay priests in the clergy. Pope Francis reportedly disagreed with their inclusion, claiming that while the church should be welcoming of everyone, to be gay and a priest would be to lead a double life. He then said that seminaries already have too much fragagine, which loosely translates to faggotness.
Yeah. I chuckled a little bit at that.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, it's horrifying, is what I should be saying.
Well, yeah. Okay, so first, like, the Pope is just a dude, right? Like, Catholics, sorry, I know he speaks for God when he's speaking ex cathedra or whatever the fuck, but, like, just a dude. And if he, like, in the privacy of his own dude conversation wants to say, like, you know, seminaries already have too much faggotness in them. Like, you know, okay. All right. Let's, you know, whatever. I'm not surprised, right?
I'm not surprised. It's so wild that he's the Pope that was like so enlightened on LGBT rights. Like he just keeps going back and forth on whether he's like good or bad for LGBT rights.
Well, that's interesting because I think that he's been remarkably consistent. Consistent in a fucked up way, but consistent, right? Like, he's saying we shouldn't just focus on gay people as being like the ickiest sinners, that they're just as sinful as other kinds of sin. And I also think that he's been like trying to counteract the virulent homophobia of the church in terms of people coming to church. But he's been very consistent about not including women or gays in the clergy, which I believe he is wrong about, but at least he's consistent. I don't sense a back and forthness about it.
I just feel like any story you do about the Pope, you're like, and the Pope apologized for this other thing, or the Pope backtracked on this thing. Yep. I just feel like that's always the story about the Pope.
Yep. He famously said in 2013 that, quote, if someone is gay and seeks the Lord with goodwill, who am I to judge? That's the thing that, like, everybody was like, oh, maybe he's on board. And I think he's as on board as he can be.
I think he could be more.
I mean, that's just true. Yeah, he can
and should
if he wants to. Yeah, fracciagine.
Fun new curse word.
Curse word
that I can use in front of my Italian friends.
Okay, sticking with Christians doing weird shit. News the second.
Uh-oh.
A Christian lifeguard is suing the city of Los Angeles for, quote, severe emotional distress because he was stationed at a lifeguard stand that had a pride flag.
That sounds rough. How did you ever manage?
Jeffrey Little, who has worked for the city for 22 years, filed a lawsuit last Friday claiming he is being discriminated against for his evangelical faith by being made to stand in the same vicinity as the Progress pride flag.
If you see a pride flag and feel like you are under attack, your Christianity is under attack, that's shit going on with you. Yeah. That the pride flag says nothing about Christianity or your beliefs or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's your own shit that you're bringing into the pride flag.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's just a flag.
Yeah.
The American flag, also just a flag.
Just a flag.
It is not magic.
It's a little the American flag is triggering to me these days because I always assume that the American flag is being waved by a Trumper.
I get that. I just mean that, like, there are people who believe that burning the American flag should get you shot. And they do not see any sort of, like, lack of proportionate response in that opinion.
Yeah.
Like, it's wild to me. Like, you can't even fucking kneel during the national anthem because that means that you're, like, the worst.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway, okay. Anyway. he complained, and then he took down the flags himself and then was given a direct order from the chief to ensure that the flags stayed up. And he's calling that religious discrimination and retaliation. And so, I mean, we'll see what happens, but like, ew.
Yeah. Ew, for sure, Z's. And hopefully it'll be good that if it goes to court, because then it'll be like dismissed and we'll have a ruling on like, no, this isn't. Yeah. Hopefully.
It's so weird to me.
Yeah.
It's so weird to me.
Severe emotion. It wasn't just emotional distress. You said severe emotional distress.
Severe emotional distress.
Yeah.
Show me on the doll where the flag touched you.
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know. Okay. News the third.
Uh-huh.
So in Idaho, you already know this story?
No.
Oh, in Idaho, Eric Posey, who is a drag performer from Post Falls that performs as the drag queen Mona Lisa Million, has been awarded over $1.1 million in a defamation lawsuit against conservative blogger Summer Bushnell.
Damn.
Yeah. So basically what happened is, I'll try to do this the quick way. So June 2022, Pride in the Park in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, Bushnell posted a video to her blog in which she said that the drag queen had been exposing his genitals while performing, and posted an edited video that blurred Posey's pelvic area, suggesting nudity, and then shared it widely online with her conservative dickbag fuckface asshole audience. Then the doctored video went viral, led to national news coverage, especially in conservative circles. There was a police investigation, significant personal harassment for Posey, the drag queen. And then law enforcement officials got a hold of the original footage, noticed that Posey was fully clothed throughout the entire performance, and that was just a blur that was placed there to try to make a point. And so he sued Posey. Anyway, the drag queen sued for defamation and fucking won. Like, you can't say I'm exposing my genitals to kids and being a pedophile and doctor up images that make it look like that's what happened. You cannot do that. That is defamation. So
yeah. Good. That sucks. That sucks so bad how drag queens are under attack these days. And and it really sucks how everything, you have to question every image and video you look at these days.
Yeah.
Because you don't know if it's real.
Yeah. Especially with AI.
Especially with AI. Yeah. It's scary.
So wild to me. But I'm glad that at least there's somebody getting their comeuppance there.
Yeah, for sure.
News the fourth, news the last. This is just a feel-good story that I wanted to end with because happy Pride. So it starts out shitty, though, but it gets better, I promise.
Okay.
So just a couple of weeks ago, Governor Ron DeSantis, winner of the 2023 Dickbag Fuckface Asshole Award, as voted on by our listeners.
Award-winning
asshole. So his administration and the Florida Department of Transportation issued an edict that bans rainbow-colored lighting on bridges during Pride Month and mandated that any such lighting should be replaced with red, white, and blue because it is now known as Freedom Summer.
It's Freedom Summer? Is it like instead of Hot Girl Summer, we're doing Freedom Summer?
Well, mostly instead of Pride Month.
Right.
Yeah. It's Freedom Summer. Bald eagles everywhere,
right.
Kyle. Hot girl summer indeed, but except the least hot version. Anyway, so he put through this edict, and so Jacksonville, Florida residents went to the Main Street Bridge and lit it up themselves in a giant rainbow. And it's just, I just think that's really great. So there is a march scheduled for the larger Acosta Bridge at the end of the month where similar citizen lighting is expected to occur. And I just think that open defiance of absolute horseshit law is fantastic.
Yeah.
And the pictures are pretty cool. It looks very rainbowy. They all got like lights and glow sticks that were the rainbow colors, and they were organized enough to have like the reds stand with the reds, but all along the bridge, and made a happy rainbow. So thanks, Jacksonville, for at least trying to not suck.
Yeah, thanks to the gays of Jacksonville for making it happen.
Yeah,
that's cute.
That's the news.
That's the news. Speaking of cute people, I want to say a thank you to our new Patreon members.
People I want to put on a bridge.
Yeah, I want to give a glow stick too. Thank you to Finnegan Cleary.
Okay, that sounds made up.
Thank you to Finnegan. Every now and then I just have to make up one name and see if you'll catch me on it.
Yeah, begin again.
I think it's real. If you want to join Patreon and get ad-free episodes a day early, get bonus episodes, bonus segments, use Mike's Hole, support the show, go to patreon.com/Gayish podcast.
Do it.
Do you want to talk about Gold Star Gay?
Let's talk about Gold Star Gay.
This was first a survey request.
Okay. Hey, Kyle.
Hey, Mike.
I want to admit my total humiliating defeat in this month's poll.
Rarely happens.
It rarely happens, but you won both the poll and the tiebreaker.
I did.
And so both of your topics this month are yours.
Yep. We're doing this for a main topic, and then the second place was pink washing, which we're doing as a bonus episode for the month for Patreon members.
I feel like I've been convicted of 34 counts of felony failure.
Just as bad. But this was also a request on our survey that we did last year. So multiple requested by me and someone.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, what do you want to talk about for Gold Star Gay?
Well, we got to talk about what the fuck it means, first of all, and a little bit about the history of Gold Star Gays.
Sure.
So, in case you don't know, everybody out there, and I don't know how it's possible, but maybe you don't.
Maybe you don't.
A Gold Star Gay is a gay man who has never had sex with a woman. A Gold Star lesbian is a lesbian who has never had sex with a man. Now, people throw them out there as little jokes. The idea is that you are pure as a homosexual,
more decorated.
Yeah, but it is a gold star, like for report cards or on papers when you were in elementary school.
Yeah.
Of like, good job, you get a gold star.
Congrats for not having touched a vagina.
Right. Well, yeah, and it is unfortunately about vaginas, right? Like that's the thing. Except for lesbians, it's about the penises.
It's about the dicks. Yep.
So talking about the history of all of this, it actually was the lesbians that started it. So most people who study such things,
which that's wild that there's a person that would be studying this. Like, that's cool, like gay terminology and where stuff came from, but that's an interesting job.
Yeah. Write more books, everybody.
Yeah.
But apparently Gold Star lesbian emerged as a term slightly ahead of Gold Star gay, only by a little bit, right? Like the gays quickly appropriated that term for themselves, for their own meaning. But it does come out of feminism and the idea that lesbians, because they don't need men, should get some kind of award for not banging dudes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's one really interesting thing, though, is the first that I could find, the very first time that it appears in print. Do you want to guess what year?
82.
A little early there, 91.
Oh.
The chapter is called "The Queer in Me" by Carol A. Queen, of an anthology called "By Any Other Name: Bisexual People Speak Out," published in 1991. And she says a whole bunch of stuff about how like bisexual people are real and how she feels discriminated against and invalidated as a bisexual person, and uses Gold Star gays as one example of that ostracization and bad feelings that she gets. So she says, "We are not divided into straight and gay people. Visualize Kinsey's famous het homo. Visualize Kinsey's famous het homo continuum. Bisexuality begins the minute we step off the zero, heterosexual end. We don't hit unambiguously dry land again until we get to 6 at the other side of the ocean, where gold star gays and lesbians dwell. Some of us, to be sure, swim right to it. For the rest of us, perhaps the journey, not the destination, is the thing. I hate hearing you just can't make up your mind. So, but that sentence of we don't hit unambiguously dry land again until we get to 6 at the other side of the ocean where gold star gays and lesbians dwell. That's the first time that gold star gays and gold star lesbians appears in print. So at least from a print perspective, they actually both emerged at exactly the same time in this. Now that's presuming we don't find an older example somewhere, but
yeah.
I think it's really interesting that at least in the literature, it has been a sign of division and disrespect from the very beginning.
Right.
And I know that we're going to get to more about that and why you shouldn't use it. But first, let's talk about Platinum Star Gay. Okay. Right? Now, Platinum Star Gay is the idea that you were born by cesarean section, and so then therefore you as a gay man have not even touched a vagina.
Yeah. You're so gay that you didn't even pass through a vagina to be born.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so there's an episode of Will and Grace from the revival in 2017 that is given credit for that at least being popularized. But I think I knew what that was well before 2017. That just seems so wrong.
Yeah.
But we start the episode with a win. So this is Emergency Contact is the name of the episode, and it's from 2017. And it says, we start the episode with a win. This is Entertainment's write-up of the episode. Jack has landed a gig as a dog food spokesperson. Well, mostly it's between him and 3 other guys, and Jack is stoked. Karen wants to take him out to celebrate. Jack has a temp job to go to, but Karen educates him on how to call out of it because Karen is a professional at calling out on Grace. And speaking of Grace, she appears in a very festive dress, looking radiant because she's going on a date. Wait, sorry, to the gynecologist? Jack and Will are not having it, even after Grace makes the argument that they both came out of vaginas. Quote, not me, Jack says. I am a Platinum Star Gay. Now, Platinum Star Gay had been around longer than that, but that episode of Will and Grace gets the credit for like being the one that made everybody go ha 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 and remembered that was a thing.
Yeah. There's also, I looked up before this, Diamond Gay.
Yeah.
Let me read the Urban Dictionary definition of this. In addition to achieving Gold Star Gay and Platinum Gay status, someone who additionally was conceived by in vitro fertilization without having been shot out of a penis that was penetrating a vagina at all.
Yeah. Right. Sure.
That's intense. That's a lot of avoiding vagina that we're trying to do to feel better about ourselves.
Yep, absolutely. And I'm going to talk about why I think that is a thing later on in the episode. But that's, roughly speaking, the history. Before we move on from terminology, though, we should talk about Gold Star Asexual.
Yeah, which is not something I had heard of before this.
Yeah. So Gold Star Asexual refers not to past sexual experience, but to a hypothetical asexual person whose asexuality cannot be attributed to trauma, disability, or other external factors. So this is, I think, also very problematic. Asexuals, please let me know what you think. But like the presumption here is it's different. You're not getting rewarded or awarded. It's not saying that you're better than, or maybe it is. I don't know how I feel about it. But the idea is if you're asexual, it could be just because you are a real asexual, like a genuine asexual, that other kinds of asexuals have been hurt or damaged or traumatized in some way, and that's why they are abstaining from sex, and they're not real asexuals because it is some other thing that made them that way instead of born that way, I guess. And I think that's, I don't know, I think that's it. Equally icky feeling, but for different reasons. Yeah,
for sure. Well, in the Wikipedia definition, it said, what did it say? Well, first, it was coined in 2010 by a blogger.
Great.
Bloggers. Fucking things up for all of us. Refers to an asexual person who is able-bodied, sociable, and in all other ways considered normal.
You.
Yeah.
You.
Yeah. A hypothetical ideal of a person whose asexuality will not be dismissed as it could not be attributed to trauma or other factors.
Yeah.
So that's implying that other asexuals' sexuality can be dismissed because of it came from trauma or something. Like, it's just, yeah, it feels very icky to me.
Now, asexuals do have to all the time buck this idea that like sex is normal or desirable, and that therefore there must be something wrong with you if you're like wired this way. And that really, really sucks. And it sucks that this is reinforcing that in a way.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Asexuals, you're fine.
Yeah. You don't have to justify why you're asexual.
I give you all double gold stars.
Aw.
Regardless of how you ended up that way.
Yeah.
Great.
Beautiful. Should I tell you about the Gayda?
Yeah, let's talk about the Gayda.
Okay. This is from the Sexual Orientation Differences in Access to Care and Health Status Behaviors and Beliefs. Findings from the National Health and Nutrition Examine Survey, National Survey of Family Growth, and National Health Interview Survey.
Okay, great.
That's the title of where this came from.
Yeah, okay. Oh, hey, scientists and sociologists and folks, workshop your titles a little bit.
Let's just be a little bit more succinct. Make it a little more catchy than that. That was a lot to... Anyway, this was published in the National Health Statistics Reports by Kevin C. Heslin and Joanna M. Alfier in 2022. And basically what they did is they broke down the percentage of, for example, men that have had a sexual experience with women.
Okay.
And then the same for every category. This percentage of men that have had sexual experience with men.
Oh my God.
Women that have it with women.
You know what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
What?
How do you define sex?
What is sex, Kyle? I want to know.
I mean, I don't know how they phrased the question. So I don't know how they defined it or if they did at all.
All right.
But this is as close as you can get to, like, I don't know that there's a study out there that says, have you put your penis inside of a vagina? You know, I think they would all describe it as, have you had sex with a woman?
Yep.
So I think this is as close as we can get to figuring out how many gay men are actually gold star gays.
Okay.
So for the percentage of men.
Oh my God, Kyle.
What?
Did we talk about what we're going to talk about during Patreon?
No.
Okay. Great.
Okay.
We don't know.
We don't know.
It's going to be a mystery.
To all of us,
Okay,
including us.
Go ahead.
I guess so. The percentage of men that have had a sexual experience with a woman in their lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
This helps us figure out how many are gold star then. For straight men that have had sex with a woman, that's 94.4%. So most straight men have had sex with a woman.
Okay.
But
okay.
What?
I don't know. That's 6%. I'm just like, what?
Some
what's your
some
deal?
are virgins.
Okay, go ahead.
Or yeah. Bisexual men, that's 87%.
Okay.
So vast majority of bisexuals have had sex with a woman. Bisexual men have had sex with a woman. And for gay men, it is 51%.
Yeah, it is.
51% of gay men have had a sexual experience with a woman in their lifetime. So more than half. That means an estimated 48.9% of gay men are gold star gays.
Yep. Congrats.
That's a lot higher than I originally would have expected.
The
number of gay men that have had sex with a woman.
You would have presumed that gold star would be the norm.
Yep.
Or like at least
more common than not. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Does this surprise you at all?
No, but that's because I've read that study before.
Did it when you first read this information?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I was like, I mean, we'll talk about personal stuff too, whenever. But I was like, oh my God, I'm not alone.
Oh.
Because like I also assumed that like I was weird or broken or different because I had sex with women before.
Right.
Well, woman singular, I suppose.
I've had sex with woman.
But yeah, the idea that like not only am I not alone, but like I'm in the majority, that felt good.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Should I keep going?
Yeah, keep going.
Okay. Percentage of men that have had a sexual experience with a man.
Okay.
For straight men, it's 2.7%.
What?
2.7% of straight men have had sex with a man.
Okay, here's the thing.
Yeah.
in a room full of 100 straight dudes. Hot.
Love it.
Almost 3 of them have done shit with another dude.
Yep.
Great.
Yep.
That's just wild. Okay.
So take your shot, everybody.
Yeah.
Why not?
On the face. Inside you, wherever.
Shoot it wherever.
Take that shot.
Take it. Bisexual men, about 70% have had sex with a man.
Okay. I love this.
What?
Well, okay. So, I mean, that means that, like, this idea that, like, bisexuals just can't choose, or that they're lying, that they're actually gay or they're actually straight, like that, those numbers undo that.
Yeah, for sure. Because bisexual men that have sex with women is 87%. Bisexual men that have had sex with man is 70%. So there's like
it's way more than
overlap.
100.
Yeah. So clearly there are people that have had sex with both. You don't have to have sex with both to still be bisexual, because you don't have to have an sexual experience to be your orientation that you are. For example, the percentage of gay men that have had sex with a man in their lifetime is 94%. So not all gay men have had sex with another man.
Sure.
I'll read you the interesting ones from the other ones. Other ways to look at it: the percentage of women that have had a sexual experience with a man in their lifetime. So this would help us figure out who the gold star lesbians are. For straight women, it's 95% straight women have had sex with a man. Bisexual women, 96% have had sex with a man. So more bi women are more likely to have had sex with a man in their lifetime than straight women.
Great.
That's weird.
Get it.
Get it. Sure. That's just really interesting to me.
Wait, what does it say? What do you think it says?
I would think straight women would be the most likely to have had sex with a man.
Oh, okay. All right.
And that bi women, because bi women might be interested in a woman or a man. So I thought there would be bigger odds that they wouldn't have had sex with a man.
Sure. Okay.
But not true. And lesbians, the percentage of lesbians that have had sex with a man is 74.5%.
Oh my God, lesbians.
So an estimated...
I have a question.
Oh, yeah.
It's really bad.
What's that?
Is all of this consensual sex?
Oh. It just says that have had a sexual experience.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know.
I mean, it's really sad, but like, I'm like, how many people have, reluctantly or begrudgingly had an experience with a gender that they're not into?
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, for sure. But that means an estimated 25.5% of lesbians are gold star lesbians.
Great.
And then just to round it out, the percentage of women that have had sex with women in their lifetime, straight women, it's 12%.
Wow.
12% of straight women have had sex with a woman.
The whole like women are more fluid thing, I guess there's like some data to suggest that that's true.
I think it's more permissible. I don't think in reality the numbers are actually that off. I think just more women are allowed to explore their sexuality because we grant them this, like, oh, this is just girls. This is just what happens when they're young. They try out women and we like feel like it's okay, or dudes think it's hot and we kind of forgive it. Yeah. It's more acceptable. It's more socially acceptable.
Lugs are better than gugs.
What's a gug? Oh, gay until graduation. Okay. I've never heard gug.
I just made it.
Okay.
But like lugs are accepted and understood, lesbian until graduation, but like gugs are not.
Yep.
Like
absolutely.
Because toxic male culture is you have sex once with a dude, you're gay forever.
Yep.
Anyway.
Yep. Totally. Bisexual women, 78% of bisexual women have had sex with a woman. And for lesbians, 91% of lesbians have had a sexual experience with a woman in their lifetime.
Great.
Yeah.
Get it.
Those are the numbers. So I think being a gold star gay is less common than you might expect. More people, or at least for me, more people have had sex with the opposite gender that they're ostensibly not attracted to in their lifetime than I expected.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, you're not alone.
Not alone.
Yeah.
I am not alone.
I'm here with you.
Then we got to put that on the list.
Yep.
Okay. Well, okay. Let's talk about this. You have reasons, right?
Yeah.
You want to do that next?
Oh, sure. I can do my reasons.
Oh.
I don't know if we've made it very clear. We are against using this phrase because of some of the following reasons, which I read in what?
Well, I expressed before we started recording today a fear about like how this episode was going to go because I will be blunt, I guess. And like it was funny. The first time I heard this concept, it was funny, and then I laughed. Gold Star Gay. And then when I heard Platinum Star Gay, I laughed. It was funny. But then I realized it is not actually funny.
Right.
It is horribly offensive in a number of ways for a number of reasons. Please stop.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the argument we'll be making. And if you disagree, if you just think it's lighthearted fun, keep listening and see if any of these will dissuade you from using it in the future.
Great.
I grabbed these quotes from a Quartz article by David Kaufman in 2017.
Okay.
First, it adds a level of competitiveness to LGBT identity that is not only inane, it's downright divisive. Gold Star suggests that there are right and wrong ways to be gay.
Yep.
I think that gives credit to the people that are gay and went down one specific path to being gay, and that is that they were allowed to come out, be gay, and had knew who they were at an early age, expressed that, and were accepted for that.
Yep.
Not every gay person has had the ability or the privilege to avoid performing heterosexuality before they are able to come out. Indeed, for many young men and women, acting straight isn't just an expression of sexual ambiguity, it's literally an act of survival.
Yeah.
So that is true that a lot of people have had to and continue to have to perform heterosexuality in order to survive because there is danger in being out, being gay. And they just can't.
Yep. That hits home.
And that, and to rank them lower than gays that have the privilege of being out and gay.
Yep.
It kind of sucks. Another reason, sure, many gay folks intuitively understand and embrace their desire for the same sex from the get-go, but for most folks, including a large number of self-identified straight folks, sexuality is far more complex and probably a lot more interesting. Their identity journeys are laced with levels of experimentation that fully acknowledge the limitless range of love, lust, and sexual behaviors, which is, I think, a fancy way of just saying that some people explore.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And whether that means you explore and then realize, oh, nope, I'm just straight, or you explore and that's how you discover that you're not into this gender or you are into that gender, that's part of a lot of people's paths.
Yep.
To try to get there.
Yep.
And then
this whole purity culture horse shit of like, you just do one thing one time and that somehow irrevocably alters you and your value and your worth. It's just so stupid.
Yeah. I think Susie Orman commented that she's like technically, I forget how old she is, but like a 70-something-year-old virgin.
Mm-hmm.
Because if she hasn't had sex with a man, then we consider that virgin.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
That was funny.
Yeah.
And lastly, Gold Star status excludes LGBTs with non-conventional gender and identity statuses, say bisexual or trans.
Yeah.
By saying that you haven't had sex with anyone with a vagina, then you're saying that trans men you're not interested in trans men. And by categorically excluding trans people, that's the definition of transphobia.
Yep. It very much is. Yep. It's offensive to cis men who bang trans dudes, and it's offensive to trans dudes who hook up with cis men, and then say all of that I just said with the ladies as well.
Yep.
And yeah. I'm upset, Kyle.
Yeah, why?
I don't know. This stuff is upsetting. It's upsetting.
It's
upsetting.
Well, it also sucks. It feels like this is what people accuse people on the left all the time of, taking fun things and making them serious, and like, oh, that thing is actually offensive. And you're like, oh God, not another thing that I have to learn and like unravel and can't we just have fun? Like,
Yep.
This is one of those things that on the surface seems like, oh, are you seriously going to deconstruct this whole thing? Can't we just make a little joke? And yeah, you kind of do have to deconstruct it and do that, because it does suck for other people within the community.
Yeah. I mean, I was married to a woman for a long time. We had sex. It was a thing. And so I like to push back on the whole thing, but while still keeping it light by, whenever it comes up in conversation, saying, well, I'm a lead star gay.
Mm-hmm.
And that usually gets a laugh. And I think then people think about why was that funny? And maybe arrive at the correct conclusion that who you've banged has nothing to do with your value at all.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. So I'm way more of all of the things that we could touch on that are in this space of Gold Star Gay. This is the one that I'm most afraid of. The gays who seem to genuinely and reflexively make a face when you bring up vaginas. That it's a tortured, I am disgusted thing that they do with their face and their words.
Yeah.
Or they do an ew or snarl.
Yeah.
And
which I did that.
Yeah.
For a long time. Yeah. I think not because I actually was disgusted, but because I felt like I was supposed to. There were a lot of expectations, the same way you bring up sports, and I was supposed to, now that I was out, I was supposed to be I don't get sports, or I hate sports. Sports ball, what's that? That's just a common joke that gets a few laughs whenever you do it. And while I don't actually care for sports, I know all the rules and can watch and be fine with, can enjoy, the Super Bowl or whatever. So it was just this thing that I felt like I was expected to do. And the same thing with vaginas. I was expected to be disgusted by them. And so I did that.
Yeah.
And it was kind of funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
Supposedly.
Yeah. Supposedly.
Yeah.
I mean, I say all the time on this show, be into what you're into. Don't be into what you're not into. And this feels like performative disgust. And so performative disgust is exactly what you just described yourself going through. It is a show of disgust because that disgust is expected by an in-group in order to stay part of the group. So if disgust at vaginas is this thing that cis gay dudes are supposed to show, then they do. And the thing is, it's powerful enough that if you do it enough, you actually start to feel disgusted. Because
this is a concept. This is performative disgust is a
psychological construct.
Yeah. Yeah.
There are things that are genuinely disgusting, and there's biology behind it, right? Like food rotting evokes a disgust that's about preservation, that's a survival instinct. But this is not that. What I'm worried about, Kyle, is I'm going to say to somebody who is a gay man who feels genuinely disgusted by the idea of a vagina, and now I'm going to tell them, you're making all of that up, and you don't have the right to do that, to feel that way, to make those faces, to react the way that you react. And I really think if that person were to look deep down inside themselves, be honest with themselves, and deconstruct this feeling, they would realize that it's performative disgust that has been entrenched somehow.
Yeah. I would suggest that if you feel like you genuinely do feel disgust at vaginas, just keep it to yourself. Just making a face at vaginas, at all vaginas, or saying ew at all vaginas is comes across. You have to know the way you come across to other people. One of the ways that comes across is very misogynistic.
Yeah. And transphobic. And just kind of childish.
Well, childish. Yeah. 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 So, yeah, maybe some people do genuinely, for whatever reason, maybe it's performative and is built up in their mind so much that they have, it is then turned to genuine, or I don't know. Maybe someone is genuinely disgusted. Just keep it to yourself. Keep it in. Hold it in.
Yeah. Yeah. So I had a friend in high school who was gay. And one of his catchphrases was, "That thing's nasty." Now, it was the 90s. We were less enlightened. Things have changed since then. But I do think that when I had sex with my now ex-wife, when we were dating, and my dick worked, and I wasn't disgusted, and I was able to orgasm, then that was like, that threw me for a loop. Mm-hmm. It was legitimately, I was like, well, maybe I'm bisexual, or a little bit bisexual, or bisexual for this one person. I don't fucking know. But I was like, I expected as a gay man that I was going to be totally disgusted by a vagina, and then interacted with one and everything was fine. And better than fine. And that like kind of pushed me back in the closet a little bit. Right? Like, I don't know.
I didn't think about this. This concept can make it confusing as to like what sexual exploration or being forced in the closet, like, it can confuse that. It can make people think that they're not. This is like one of the arguments against saying it is it makes you feel like you aren't right if you've ever done anything with a woman.
Yep.
Or that you're not gay enough, or that you're not gay at all. And that's just not true.
Yep. It's just not true. Because
sex feels good.
I mean, usually.
Sometimes. hopefully sex feels good. And so to have sex with a woman could feel good. and that's okay. And you might still be gay.
Yep. Don't gatekeep what it means to be gay.
Yeah.
You assholes.
Yeah.
So there's this essay by John Paul Brammer in Esquire that I found called "How to Kiss Your Girlfriend." And he goes into he's gay, and had a high school girlfriend situation. And he is pushing back on this concept because he doesn't want to like dishonor himself or disrespect what that relationship was or what it meant. And so here's this thing. So he says in this essay, quote, "But I'm not willing to see any part of my past, or Rebecca," that was the girlfriend, "as disposable, as I think a lot of gay men do with prolific concepts like gold star gay, a gay man who's never had sex with a woman, or a performative disgust for vaginas. I think we sometimes reduce women, diminish women, cast women and their bodies as jokes or as failed attempts on our sexual liberty because we think that's a small revenge on the straightness that was unjustly imposed on us. I find that impulse somewhat understandable, but its manifestations lazy at best." All of this stuff is lazy at best. I absolutely agree with that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I agree with him that we feel like we have the right to, because we were forced to act like we were straight for so long, we feel like we have the right to then cast aspersions on women.
Yeah, from a certain perspective, it makes sense. If you're shoved in that box by society, if you're forced into that box for so long, that maybe some part of you can hate that.
Right.
Like if you're be into girls, then maybe you start on some level to hate girls.
Yeah.
Maybe those feelings that you have are misogyny.
Yeah, that's true. I think that this is one of those things that we expect that once we come out of the closet, we will now be this new enlightened version of ourselves that now knows, but like I was performing straightness before, but when I came out, I was performing gayness, you know, like it didn't all of a sudden make it so I knew I was my authentic self.
Right.
I was still performing for just a different audience and with a different character that I had in mind.
Yep.
And this is one of those things that I think comes up when you're performing gayness to people.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I don't know.
I don't know what to do now. Like when people do, because people still make this joke.
Yeah.
And I'm not good at confrontation. Like I don't know what to do now when people make this joke. Like, or if someone asks me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if somebody asks you, how do you feel about this joke? Or
No, just, are you a Gold Star gay?
Oh, well, first, let's go with this. Are you?
I am. Well, I see. This is where like define what it counts. I've never put my penis in a vagina.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Except that one time it came out of one, I suppose.
I have not and will not be asking my mom if she had a C-section.
Really?
Yeah.
Wild. I know we're very different and we have very different families, and I can't imagine that not being an acceptable question.
That's a weird question to ask my mom.
That's wild to me. Okay, great. Okay.
So I don't know that part.
But you're being cagey. You haven't not touched one.
I've touched one and I've licked one.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay. Great.
I still think that counts as Gold Star gay in my mind because I haven't put my penis in one.
Okay. Cool.
That's how I interpret Gold Star gay.
Cool. Back to the question that led us down this line of questioning, Kyle. I mean, I think I already went through this. My personal version of how to push back is to say I'm a lead star gay.
Yeah.
And that like maybe gets people thinking.
I don't have a version of that.
Yeah, you don't. Well, if I'm ever standing there, you can say Mike's a lead star gay. How does that make you feel? I'm fine with that.
Are you a Gold Star gay? I don't know. Can I deflect by joking about like, no, I get pretty bad grades all around on being gay. Like
maybe,
yeah,
maybe. Or like,
are you a Gold Star gay? Well, do you want to give me one?
Right. Yeah. Or I'm a Gold Star gay. Great. How do you turn those in for something that actually matters?
How do I redeem them for points? Do I get a discount off my next like Lululemon purchase?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do want to talk about the divisive thing really quickly.
Okay.
And how I think that another thing that gay men go through is feeling cast out and like they don't belong and stomped down for so long that I could see the appeal to finally having some claim to superiority. Like a wounded part of their psyche that like wants to be better than at something.
Right.
And I think that there's part of that in this whole construct.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. Yeah, like I went through all this horrible experience that pushed me down, and now I get to feel like I'm better for some reason.
Yep.
And that feels good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do it find that in a different way though.
Yeah. Yep. Well, I banged my wife and I hook up with trans dudes and I am super gay and valid as a gay person. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, there you go, Mike. I love it. I have not put my penis in a vagina, and that doesn't make me any better or worse than anyone else.
Great. Kyle gets it.
Yeah.
Grow up, everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. Stop doing this.
Stop doing this. I don't know. Did we do it?
Yeah.
Is there more to talk about? I don't know what we're going to talk about for Patreon.
Oh, great. Maybe Patreon we can talk about our pride plans and
okay.
Do just a little fun one.
Okay, great.
Let's do that.
So did we do it?
I think we did it.
Are we going to, I don't know, take a break and then you see if we can change your star?
Yeah. We can find a vagina for me to put my penis into just for experimenting. Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, great. Let's take a break.
Break.
This is the part where Mike and Kyle take a break.
So are we back?
We're back.
We're back.
Yeah. We're going to do our Gayest and Straightest.
We're going to do our Gayest and Straightest. But first, hey, guess what?
What?
This is the last time that we're going to be in this studio.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm going to explain it a lot more in the personal news section of the Patreon bonus episode. If you didn't know, everybody, in the monthly Patreon bonus episodes, we do personal news. So if you want to know more about us and our lives and what, you got to pay for it. But, but yeah, we're going to be remote for the next probably 5 or 6 episodes, and then I'll be in a new place, and we'll have a different studio.
Yeah, it's gonna be weird.
Yeah, it's gonna be weird.
Goodbye to you.
Also, June 27th is National HIV Testing Day. Go know your status, everybody, especially if you're gonna do things with your holes for Pride.
Yeah, definitely get tested.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you need to, get on PrEP.
Yeah.
And get DoxyPep.
Yep. And we lied. We didn't just talk about our Pride plans for the Patreon segment. We also talked about an article that I found about 7 reasons why Gold Star Lesbian needs to be a thing we don't say anymore.
Yeah. So we talked more about Gold Star Lesbian on the Patreon bonus segment for this week.
Great. We did it.
Yeah.
Our website is gayishpodcast.com.
We are on socials at Gayish Podcast, and you can find where to join our Discord and Facebook group communities at gayishpodcast.com/contact.
Our hotline, you can send us text messages or leave us voicemails, is 5855-GAYISH. That's 585-542-9474. Standard rates apply.
Our email is gayishpodcast@gmail.com.
And our physical mailing address is Post Office Box 19882, Seattle, Washington, 98109.
Gayest and straightest?
Let's do our gayest and straightest.
All right, I'll go.
Okay.
My straightest is that I have not gotten a haircut in quite a while.
Oh.
Gays are supposedly most powerful when they've gotten their haircut.
Is that true?
Yep.
Oh.
That's the whole thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
I thought it's when Mercury is in retrograde.
I think that's lesbians.
Oh, okay, great.
But I'm getting it cut tomorrow, so I can't wait.
Great. Say hi to her.
Oh, I will.
Yeah.
Our friend Tiffany from the show. Friend of the show.
Friend of the show, Tiffany.
And my gayest is getting called daddies on sniffies.
Wait, getting called daddies?
No, daddy.
Getting called daddy on sniffies.
Yes. I was a singular human on sniffies.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
I mean, you never know.
You never know.
Were you okay with that?
I don't like it.
You don't like it?
No.
Okay.
I'm 38, so I'm almost to the age where that's going to become more common.
Yeah.
I don't love it.
Well,
maybe I can just, if I can use it to my advantage, maybe I'll get more on board with it.
Well, I mean, my experience was after I turned 40, that's when suddenly all the 22-year-olds wanted to fuck. So
great.
Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah. What about you?
What about me? The straightest thing about me this week was, boyfriend and I went to Home Depot, and on the way to Home Depot, we went to a drive-in. There's this place on Aurora Avenue called Burger Master.
Oh yeah.
You pull in and you eat in your car, and they come and they hang the tray on your window because you roll it down
like a Sonic burger.
It's like a Sonic burger, yeah, but very Seattle-y version of it. Mm-hmm. Anyway, it just felt straight, I guess.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. And then the gayest thing about me this week was everybody in my work is sick right now. And some have COVID, some have strep, some have anyway. But my boss was like, "You're leaving for a whole month for work. Should you just take antibiotics with you everywhere that you go?" And I said, "Do you know what question you're actually asking?" And she's like, "No, what do you mean?" And so then I told her all about DoxyPep. Because I do have a bottle of doxycycline because we're open and I hook up every once in a while. And Doxy is the morning after pill when you've been with a rando.
Yep. Yep, absolutely. Yeah.
So yeah, anyway, explaining DoxyPep to my boss was the gayest thing about me this week.
Seems... we're very different people. We have a listener's gayest and straightest.
We have a listener's gayest and straightest, and this week it's from my favorite math teacher, Chase from Kentucky.
Yeah.
Hi, Mike, Kyle, Derek, and Gayish in general. Calling with a gayest and straightest today. This is Chase from Kentucky. Gayest is being oppressed, sadly. Dealing with working at school as a gay teacher and not being allowed to speak freely with some of my students and having to tell them during certain conversations, I maybe can't have this conversation with you, and then allowing them to speak and trying to be as supportive and proud as possible without getting myself in trouble. My straightest is going to a sports bar and being offended that they didn't have my sports on the TV and having to demand that they put the NBA playoffs on for me to watch. Thanks for all you do. Keep it up. Bye-bye.
I mean, what's gayer than oppression?
That's the gayest thing I can imagine. That fucking sucks. I'm sorry I have to
Chase.
deal with that.
Yep.
The NBA playoffs, you care about that?
That makes one of us.
That makes one of us.
Well, that's it. A special thank you to everyone who stopped saying Gold Star Gay because of this episode.
Yeah, special thank you to people who actually listened and considered it.
Yeah.
I think that is important, and hopefully you took the time to do that. Yeah. And thank you to our super gap bridgers. Thank you to Kaylee Adams, Kit Oliver, Kobe Gordon, Squoggle, Pip, Andrew Bugby, William Bryant, John Crowley, Yost Osel, Harry Shaw, Jonathan Montañez, Wadu, Forrest Nail, Patrick Martin, Steve Douglas, Explosive Lasagna, Michael Cubbington, Just Jamie, Thomas B, Dusty Sands, A.E. Coleman, Chris Kachatorians, and Jerome York. Thank you for your support.
Thank you for your money. That's it. This has been Gayish from the Chris Kachatorian Studios. I'm Mike Johnson.
I'm Kyle Getz. Until next week, be butch, be fabulous, be you. See ya.
See ya. But there is a chapter of a book called the chapter is called
Jesus, you okay?
Happy Pride, everybody.